There we go. Check 1, 2, 3. Is this thing on? All right. Rick's here. Kyle's here. Martin's here. Elmar is here. Michael's here. Prashana's here. Amnon's here. Rudy's here. Welcome. Glad you guys are here. It is a day after Christmas, or depending on where you are in the world, 2 days after Christmas. And we're glad Rick is back. We missed him. Not really, but that's okay. Today is a special day here at Streaming Idiots. Number one, we have our top 10 predictions for 2019. And secondly, we have two guests in the studio today. So y'all need to be on your best behavior out there. I'm not talking to the guests now. I'm talking to the viewers, because the guests are my mom and my brother. And they are here live in the studio, and we'll introduce them to you a little later on. Hope you guys had a splendid day yesterday, and you get to hang out and watch Streaming Idiots today. I mean, how much better can it get? Holy cow. Let's see, how are we doing time-wise? We've got a few minutes here. Part of the show today is going to be not just talking to you about our predictions for next year, but how we did on our predictions last year. Now, in 2017, our predictions were horrid, absolutely horrible. So 2018's predictions we will review in just a few minutes, and we did pretty well. I think we got 4 out of 5, so that's not bad. It wasn't like back in 2017 when I predicted that Facebook Live, the video part of Facebook, would be an abysmal failure, a total flop. I figured they'd be ending it within 6 months and be so embarrassed. Boy, was I wrong. Facebook Live has been a huge video opportunity for so many folks, including us here at Streaming Idiots and including a lot of you. And there's Jerome. Hey, bud. How are you feeling? I hope you will be up to visiting out in Las Vegas again in April. Remember, April 9th is the Streaming Idiots meetup at NAB. That's the Tuesday night at NAB, April 9th. The NAB runs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, with Thursday being a little shorter day. And if you have to choose what days to go, Thursday is definitely the day that you can scratch off. But if you did a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or if you did a Tuesday, Wednesday, either one of those would get you there for the Streaming Idiots meetup, because frankly, that's going to be the best part of NAB. So Mom and Colt, Otis sends his regards from Texas. Otis was at the Streaming Idiots meetup last year and loved meeting him. In fact, he even won a prize. And everybody that went to the Streaming Idiots meetup got a Streaming Idiots koozie. So we have to somehow figure out how to outdo ourselves this coming year. And I'm not sure what it's going to be, but we'll figure out something. Amnon can't hear. Amnon, that's because you're old and feeble. You just need to turn up the volume on your end. It's just you're going to have to do that. I'll see if I can bump it up here a little bit. But I have to add extra gain, which of course means I add extra noise to it. So let's see, let's go up to 18 decibels. We were at 12. Hopefully that's better for you. We're doing it just for you, Amnon. Let's see. Jerome wants to be there. Okay, good. Well, I want you to be there. I want you to be there. Maybe you'll win a prize this time. Amnon says, I forgot audio is not important. That's right. Oh, let me get the chat up for you guys. Can y'all see it over there, Mom? Okay. And let me push that button, and that'll put it up there a little bigger, and it'll refresh it in just a second. There we go. So that's a little better. We're using a multi-view here in the studio today, and one of the multi-views for preview is showing the chat to the folks that are here. Hey, Kurt's here. Michael Graves says the audio is low. Well, Michael Graves, Amnon has already claimed that statement for the day. But when we get into the set in just a second to the show, the audio will be just absolutely pristine, other than maybe some heavy breathing from my brother in the background. He's a mouth breather. At least he has been for the last several days, because he hadn't been feeling well. Flew all the way down here from Virginia and then got sick. So we'll fly him home tomorrow with a mask. Kurt's in South Carolina. Alan is in New Jersey. Alan, Alan has every Christmas day, every year, Alan hosts a party at his house and he invites everybody. He says he doesn't send invitations because he doesn't want anybody to feel slighted if they can't be there. So he just says everybody's welcome. And so people just show up. Hey, Jim's here. Hey, Jim. Jim's from South Carolina too. Welcome, Jim. Good to see you. Well, actually, I don't see you, but you get to see me, so that's the best part anyway. All right, let's see. We're getting down to time. 2 minutes here. Let's see who else has slipped in. Kane's here. Welcome, Kane. Glad to have you. Andrew's here. Andrew, what time in the morning is it in Australia for you? About 6 a.m.? Holy cow. Nick Pendergrass is here. Good. Welcome, Nick. And remember, if you get here late, you have to bring refreshments to the post show. So we need to get that. Oh, Alan says the party is New Year's Day and they don't invite anybody. Okay. But they feed everybody that shows up uninvited. I like it. And Kane was at the Streaming Idiots meetup last year. That was great. Good to have him. Kane is with New Tech, but we let him in the door anyway. No, we like New Tech. They do a lot of good things. Andres just showed up. Glad you could make it. You had 1 minute and 1 second to spare. There you go. And Merry Christmas, Nick. It was a great day. So Alan says, so you are not invited. That's good. Well, if you don't invite anybody, then that means everybody's welcome. Nobody's invited, but everybody's welcome. I like that. It has sort of a theological ring to it, doesn't it? Let's see who else is showing up late with 33 seconds left. Good Shepherd Al is here. Hey, Al. That's Al Bunt. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you. That's from, Al, I never remember whether it's North Dakota or South Dakota. You'll have to help me out on that one. Kane said he might try and make it again next year. Well, if you don't have any better offers, I understand. Andrew says it's 6 a.m. in Melbourne, 7 a.m. in Melbourne, 6 a.m. at the Gold Coast, and 6:30 in Adelaide. That must be a suburb. Apparently, all of Australia is on the coast. I didn't know that. It's all on the coast. All my Australian geography comes from... what was that movie about the clownfish? Finding Nemo. That's it. Yeah, because that took place in Australia. So that's the limit of my Australian geography. All right, let's see. Who else may have showed up just for a sec? Mike's here. Well, there you go. But he didn't have time to bring refreshments. Well, that's all right. Alexandro from Peru. Welcome. Glad you're here. Glad you made it. And who else is on the list that hasn't popped in to say anything yet? Please introduce yourselves if you're just joining. And it's time to get the show started. So I'm gonna start the show, the intro, and turn off this mic, which you guys will be happy for, and then get the other one going, and hopefully we got it right. Because we're doing kind of the pre-show on this side of the studio, the control side, and then we'll go to the studio part in just a second. So let's get that underway. Right. Oh, Ken's here. Oh, Ken's here. We can get started now. Okay, Ken. Be right back. Turning off that mic. That is too funny. I was walking over to the set and picked up the keyboard. It's the USB, the X keys from USB with USB, and it unplugged itself. So you guys need to sit tight just 1 second and see if I can make this guy restore itself without having to reboot vMix or the PC. So hang on just a second. This is the little culprit right here. So let's see. Nope, that didn't do it. That didn't do it. All right, nobody go anywhere. I'll be right back. Don't go, don't leave. Don't leave, don't do anything. I promise you, we're not going anywhere. We'll just be right back. And let's see, how are we going to do this? Can we do this? Yeah, we'll do this. Hang on. Here we go. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. It worked. It worked. That's one of the things with vMix. If you unplug a USB device and then plug it back in, vMix says, there's nobody home. All right. Yeah, the worst thing is that I have an in-studio audience. Well, they got to hear me the whole time. So let's get everything set here. And Michael Graves is absolutely right. One of the benefits of not streaming from the same PC that you are using for production is that you can keep the stream going. And Facebook and YouTube were complaining that they weren't getting a lot of video because all you saw was a little text across it, but that's okay. So, shall we give this another go? Let's give this another go. And this time I won't unplug the cable as I walk across the room. And you would think, yes, you do need a second X keys so that you can use one in the control room and one a tape. Yeah, you know, Kurt, I was looking for tape just a minute ago, and I think I'm building a studio at one of the local schools, and I think I left my lone roll of gaffer tape up there. So crazy glue. Does that work with a USB cable? Huh. Well, for now, you know I'm going to be real careful. All right, so let's get this show on the road. Let's try again. I'm going to turn this mic off, and away we will go. Here we go. Hopefully, fingers crossed. How about that? It worked. Hello, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. Not quite the New Year's edition. We've got a few more days until the New Year gets here. But this is the year, the time of year where we do our top 10 predictions for 2019. So glad to have you with us today. Hope you had a Merry Christmas yesterday and got together with family and friends and plan to do that throughout the holidays. It's a great time. I am delighted to have some guests with me here live in the studio. With me today are my mom and my brother who are visiting from Virginia. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. I told you I wasn't going to put you on camera, didn't I?
Promised.
I promised I wouldn't put you on camera. Well, you fell for that one. So I'm delighted to have them with us, and we won't bring them back again because, you know, the best way to come on camera is when you're not expecting it. You know, it just, that way you can do all those things that you wouldn't have otherwise done, but you don't have to worry about it. So we're going to do the top 10 predictions for 2019. But before we do that, we're going to review how we did for 2018. Back this time last year in 2017, we predicted 5 things for 2018. Now, back in 2016, we predicted 5 things for 2017, one of which was that Facebook Live, you know, that live streaming thing that Facebook was going to start doing. I predicted that would be a total flop. It would be that people would laugh at it, they would ignore it, nobody would use it. Facebook would walk away with their proverbial tail between their legs, being so embarrassed at putting such an awful offering out there. Well, turns out I'm the one that has the tail between their legs because Facebook Live has been a huge success. In fact, you may be watching this on Facebook Live now. And by the way, if you are watching it on Facebook Live, I would invite you to come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com. That way you can get in on the chat. The chat is all these folks that are joining us and talking back and forth. Yes, I know Facebook Live has comments, but we won't be seeing those comments till after the show. So come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com. You can sign up for our email list, and you can get in on the chat. If you're watching on YouTube directly, we'd love to have you come to Eastern Shore Broadcasting too, because we're not paying any attention to the comments there yet. We will later, but not right now. So everybody, all the cool kids, are at easternshorebroadcasting.com chatting away and having a big time, suggesting perhaps that I get some sort of locking connector for my USB. Today we're using the X keys to control the whole show, and as you can tell, the X keys is always my X keys is always in a state of flux because I'm always changing buttons and reprogramming them to do different things. So the key labels are written in pen and pencil and who knows whatever I can find when I'm changing them at the last minute. But we love the X keys. We also love vMix. vMix 22 beta is out. If you haven't heard about that yet, you've been living under a proverbial rock somewhere. vMix 22 beta has the new GT title designer in it, which allows you to do animated titles. And we'll be showing you a few of some awful titles that I built this morning. But they're pretty fun. One thing about the beta is that if your vMix license is more than a year old, that is, if you bought the license in 2017 or before, you will have to actually do an upgrade in order to see the beta. It'll cost you $60 to see the beta, and it'll also cost you $60 to get the final version when it's available in April. Not two $60s, just one. But you can get the beta now and play with it, so when the final release is made in April, you will be all up to speed. Right now, I think they're at version 35, and they may have some others. Most of them have been just little bug fixes here and there. But you know, one of the things about vMix, when they release a beta, it's pretty darn ready. They're just those kinds of weird things that they can't possibly test in their studios that you and I get to test in our studios. So, oh, and by the way, I think there's a coupon out there that you can use. If you get the vMix upgrade from us at easternshorebroadcasting.com, you can get a 10% discount. That's right. You save a whole $6. If somebody knows the code, I think it's like, it's gift. That's what it is. That's the code. So go to easternshorebroadcasting.com, go to the store section, buy your vMix 22 upgrade for $54. That's right. You save $6. Somebody's got to save $6, don't they? Anyway. All right. So top 10 predictions let's see. The top 10 predictions for this past year were that more people would discover live streaming. Well, that was an easy one. Of course, more people are going to discover live streaming. In fact, it's absolutely exploded based on the way my phone rings. And my guess is that other vendors will tell you the same thing. Prediction number 2 that did come true in 2018 was that PTZ Optics will finally release NDI, the NDI license for their cameras for an upgrade. And that did indeed happen. It happened, I think, about in February. We also predicted that the Bird Dog Studio would finally be released. After a year and a half of taking pre-orders, they did indeed release it in the spring. We predicted that more churches will do live streaming, and that definitely has been the case. We also predicted that net neutrality, you remember net neutrality? That was such a big deal. We predicted that net neutrality would become the answer to a trivia question, and it has been. Net neutrality has not been a deal. Nobody's internet has slowed up because net neutrality has gone away. The last prediction we made, and the only one that did not come true in 2018, was that vMix would win the Streaming Media Reader's Choice Awards. They were in second place again this year, so we're going to have to try a little harder next year to get them in there. So that was our predictions for 2018. We did pretty well, so we thought we'd have a go at predictions for 2019. So let's see if we can bring in a graphic that can show us 2019. Whoops, that's the wrong graphic. Sorry about that, Mom and brother. Let's go back here. And that's going to be, let's take that off and let's try that one. There we go. There we go. We'll get something to bounce in and squirrel in, and we'll have our 2018 predictions. All right, our top prediction, number 1 prediction for 2018 is that NDI will end up on a chip. And it will be for camera manufacturers and audio mixer manufacturers and anybody that wants to get NDI available to their system, their streaming system. And again, if you are still under a rock and you don't know about NDI, NDI is Network Device Interface. And NDI is the cool technology practically given away for free from New Tech that allows you to, at least initially it was to take video and transport it across your own existing local area network. And that's what we're doing here in this studio today. We've got 2 PCs, and so we're sending the video and audio from this show, the production, from one PC, which is doing the production, running vMix 22, by the way, over NDI, over our gigabit network, to a second PC, which is also running vMix 22. And that PC is recording the output and streaming it to Facebook and to YouTube. So NDI is pretty handy. In fact, we just assume it's there. But we're seeing that Bird Dog TV, the guys at Bird Dog, are going to be releasing. January was their prediction, so we'll see how it really comes out. But they're going to be releasing a PTZ camera that has full NDI. Now you know that most of the cameras that are out, in fact, probably all the cameras that are out right now, are using NDI HX, the lightweight version of NDI, which gives you a pretty good picture, but it's not the full NDI implementation. So we think that NDI is going to end up on a chip. Probably Bird Dog will do it. Maybe New Tech will do it. Maybe Magewell will do it. Magewell's just come onto the field lately with a converter chip that will convert HDMI, I believe, to full NDI. I saw a mock-up of that at the WHO conference in Orlando a couple of weeks ago. And that looked pretty cool. So we'll see. We'll see who's the first to make a chip that any camera manufacturer can incorporate into their camera and plug in Ethernet and have it, pow, there it is, NDI. So you heard it first right here. Let's remember that one. Number 2, let's see if we got there we go. Here comes number 2. Our number 2 is that 4K will really make a dent in live streaming this year. Right now, 4K is reserved for a couple of early adopters. 4K has just beginning to pop up in HD productions as we use it for a region of interest. That seems to be what we're calling it now, to take a full 4K video or a 4K image and slice it and dice it down into multiple 1080p images or 1080p videos that can be used. I've got a 4K camera set up here. I didn't have time to set it all up the way I wanted to today, but I don't tell my mom and my brother, but I was going to put them on that one too and slice it and dice it as if it were 3 separate cameras, one on me, one on each one of them, and have 3 1080p images. And I think that's how 4K is going to make its introduction into a lot of studios as basically a 4 cameras in one. We can call it 4K for 4 cameras. K for camera, well, maybe that won't stick. But anyway, you get the idea that you can take a 4K camera and be able to use it as if it were multiple cameras. The other thing that I think is going to help for adopt that my cough button doesn't work on those. The other thing that I think is going to help is that vMix has introduced a new feature coming out in vMix 22 for virtual PTZ control. So you're going to be able to take that full 4K image that you get and zoom in with this virtual PTZ control and then pan around the image. And if you limit your zoom to essentially probably either a 2x or a 3x, I don't remember which it is right now. Somebody in chat will probably remember that you'll be able to treat it like it's a virtual pan tilt zoom camera. Now the field of view will only be the width of the image. It won't be able to really pan and tilt, but it will zoom, and it will zoom as probably as far as you let it. That's one of the other reasons I wanted to play with that 4K camera today, was to try out that new feature in vMix. I haven't tried it with a 4K camera yet. I've tried it with 1080p, and it's really pretty slick, really pretty slick. Okay, prediction number 3. And I had to work hard on these predictions, so you have to pay attention. In fact, I want you to take notes, because I'm predicting that in 2019, vMix will be, I hated to predict this. You know I hated to predict it. but I predicted that vMix is going to be sold for $100 million to Amazon. That Amazon wants to get into the live streaming business desperately, and that what better way to make a splash than to pick this hard-charging, up-and-coming young whippersnapper software company and put their brand on it. So even though I'm predicting it, I'm making a plea to Martin and Tim not to sell out for the big bucks. You know, getting your Tesla car is not, your Lamborghini is not going to be that good as playing with vMix. I promise you. I would gladly trade my Lamborghini for vMix 23 right now. Just teasing. This is a prediction I desperately hope is not coming true for 2019, that vMix will not be selling out to Amazon for $100 million, but you just never know. Here's one that I think has already started to come true, and that Facebook and YouTube are going to become more friendly to people that have music as part of their production. Now, you know that if you're playing a pre-recorded audio from somebody else that has it copyrighted, that Facebook will just mute that. YouTube might even just shut you down altogether. I know I got shut down by YouTube for 2 or 3 days several years ago because YouTube algorithm picked up some sort of music that they thought somebody else owned, and so they not only did they turn off that video, but they shut down my YouTube account. I think they've gotten a little less reactionary since then. They're afraid of getting sued, I'm sure. Facebook just recently, somebody reported in the Streaming Idiots chat. By the way, if you're not a member of the Streaming Idiots Facebook page, you really want to be. It's facebook.com/groups/Streaming Idiots. And again, it's where all the cool kids go to hang out when they're not watching the Streaming Idiots show. But somebody mentioned on there that they had a run-in with Facebook on some music that they owned a license to, and that apparently there is a department at Facebook that will be responsive when you write them and tell them that you have a license, and they will restore whatever they took away as a result. And in fact, they will, according to this person, they promised not to ever flag his music again. So I'll have more information on that in a show a little later on in January. We'll talk about copyrights and how you can avoid that, and I'll try to get more information on what Facebook is doing. But I'm predicting that Facebook will go more that direction, and that YouTube will also, as long as you can provide some documentation which shifts the burden of liability from them to you, that they will probably begin to allow that. We'll see. And you know, it probably is going to end up being tested in court, but we'll see how that works. So we are hoping that that works, because, you know, I just did a live stream for a local school for Christmas, not last Friday, but the Friday before. And there were, I don't know, 300 or 400 people there live. Another 700 people watched the live stream. And I found out later that about 5 of the songs that the kids were using as lip syncs were copyrighted, of course. Of course, they were copyrighted. And Facebook muted them. So you can watch kids dance around and you can watch them sing, but you don't hear anything as a result, which was unfortunate. So we'll work a little harder to get some permissions for that next year so that it won't be just a silent movie production. All right, so number 5 and our last prediction. Oh, did I say 10? Yeah, you know, I got to 5, and this one just my mind just exploded when I thought about this. And perhaps somebody's already done this. That somebody is going to live stream the birth of their child in 2018. And if you haven't thought about it already, now that idea is there. Wouldn't that be cool, though? I mean, wouldn't that be neat for grandparents that are watching on the other side of the country or other side of the world, cousins and aunts and uncles that have all awaited this little baby's birth? You know, what if they could have live streamed Jesus's birth, 2,000 years ago yesterday, or whenever the actual day was? Somebody's going to do that. if they haven't already, somebody's going to live stream the birth of their child. And what an exciting family event it's going to be. And can you imagine that kid, 15 years later watching a video along with all the other people that saw it live of him or her being born. So that's my prediction. And that's my prediction. I also predict I will not be doing that. I will not be live streaming anybody's birth. So if you want to find a company that'll do that, it won't be ours. You'll have to find somebody else. And I'm sure there'll be a ton of paperwork that goes with it. But that's it. We're just going to do the five predictions. I know we'd said top 10 for 2019, but we just couldn't come up to 10. There just wasn't enough brain power there to do the 10. I mean, it was a holiday. You got to cut me some slack here. So so Jonathan's saying in chat that Amazon won't buy vMix. Amazon will create some sort of software before they buy vMix. I certainly hope you're right. That's not going to be. As you know, this show is really a giant, say this with me, this show is a giant infomercial for my company, Eastern Shore Broadcasting. And so I have to remind you that there are all sorts of cool things that we sell, and we'd love to have you buy them from them. We sell vMix, of course. We sell PTZ optics cameras, Magewell and Yuan capture cards and capture dongles. X keys, of course. We're bringing the Ada camera, the 4K camera from Ada, into the fold. We're representing Bird Dog TV now as well. And I'm sure there's somebody else that I'm forgetting. I need to have a list. I say that every week. But if I can help you with any of those products, or if I can help you with a PC that we build for you, I've got 3 on the workbench right now, and I'd love to build one for you. And the idea is that yes, you can go to a big box store and you can buy a PC, and you can come to me and buy your vMix license, and you can buy your X keys from me and your PTZ optics cameras from me. Or we can talk about bundling all of that up together, and you get a PC that is built just for you with all the stuff you need and some future proofing built in as well. And then you've got one phone number that you can call when something doesn't work right, or when you need some advice, or when you need a tutorial, or when you need somebody to sit down and help you walk through a workflow. That's the benefit that you get when you're buying something like that from us at Eastern Shore Broadcasting. So that ends the infomercial. So that's it. Oh, nope. I guess we get the infomercial again. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Thank you, Martin. I really appreciate to this day you doing that for me. So let's see if we can't get rid of the infomercial. There we go. Just let it fade out. Fade into the background. So that's the show today. Next week, I should have the calendar in front of me. A lot of shoulds in this show, don't you know? I should have the calendar in front of me, but it's either next week or the week after. We're going to have Cliff Sobel come on. Cliff has a studio up in New York, and with a gigantic green screen. I think this sucker is like 20 feet by 40 feet or something like that. Just absolutely mammoth. And it's big enough that he can use multiple cameras with it. And of course, as you know, with the green screen, that means you need to adjust whatever your image is back here to adjust to the camera angle. And so he has done that, and he wants, and I've seen it, and I really liked it. So I asked him to come on the show to talk with us a little bit about it, because, if Cliff can do it, he can teach other people how to do it. And if he can teach me to do it, then anybody can do it. So there you go, right there. So Cliff will be on. We've also got Eric Pratt coming on to talk about how NASA used the vMix software to do their 360 live stream of the stream that was about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, to come on and talk about UV mapping and how you can flatten out images that are curved. In fact, one of the things that Eric and I have been talking about is that some of the 4K cameras are coming with a fisheye lens, and so it gives you that kind of distorted view. and that can actually be fixed in vMix. vMix can take the curve out of that image. So I want to hear some more about that. And then, of course, we're talking about licensing. So we've got a lot of cool things to talk about coming up this year, 2019. Probably the coolest of all will be April 9th in Las Vegas at NAB will be the Streaming Idiots Meetup. I want you there. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you get to meet all those cool folks, and you get to meet me too, the idiot. So it will be a lot of fun. It'll be worth your trip to Las Vegas. Make your hotel reservations and your plane reservations now before everybody else does. Plus, you get to see thousands and thousands of cool things at NAB. It's like Disneyland for techs. A lot of fun. So we're going to move over to the post show in just a second. So if you've got a couple of questions, go ahead and post them in chat. And if you've already posted them, if you would, go ahead and repost them, and we'll take a look at them and chat about them. It's been so much fun to have you here today with me and with my family that's joining me live here in the studio. And they're like, oh, don't show us again. Golly gee. But that's okay. So stick around for the post show. If you're watching us on YouTube, we'd love to have you subscribe. If you're watching us because of our Twitter feed, subscribe to that. Join the Facebook group. You know, all that kind of stuff. We'd love to have you hang out because you're going to learn a lot and you're going to make a lot of friends, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So you've got something to say. Okay.
You've done a good job.
Well, thank you very much. If you didn't hear that, I'll repeat it for you. She said, I've done a good job. Now, if there's ever an unbiased comment about the quality of somebody's work, you know it always comes from your mother. Thanks, Mom. All right, so we'll close out this section of the show. We'll be right back in post-show. Don't go anywhere.
Awesome job.
Thank you, Colt. Okay, we're back here in the post show now. And let's see, what did I miss? What did I miss? Who showed up? Who's here now that wasn't here before? Is there anybody here? Jonathan's here. Speed Dozoki is here. Let's see, Rod made it. Thank you, Rod. Glad to have you. Tommy Willis is here. Well, there you go. Then we're all set. Gee whiz. What are we doing there, Colt? Turning off the lights. Okay. They're there as guests for about 5 minutes in the studio, and now they're rearranging the lighting. All right. Speedazoki, Florida says, I will be getting in touch for a PC quote for the church I'm doing. Absolutely. Glad to do it. And if you're doing it, you know, on behalf of the church, but you're not a member of the church, but you're in your local community and doing it as a service for the church, then you can, we're happy to work with you on that and make sure that the pricing has something in there for you too. Let's see. Tommy's going to get indoor plumbing in vMix 24. Cliff has come a long way. Yeah, Cliff has come a long way. And Frank is a big part of that too. So let's see. Questions about products or predictions for, what are your predictions for 2019? That's what I want to hear. That's the big question. How did you do on your predictions for 2018? Or how did you do in guessing my predictions for 2018? We'll find out. We will find out. Let's see. Did I see somebody just popped in to the chat? The chat rearranged itself. So now it looks like all the same folks there. I hope you had a great holiday. And this is really great because you guys are going to love this. And see if you can see the resemblance. When we give you that picture, that's my brother now sitting. That's my baby brother. Can you believe it? He's the good-looking one in the family. And we can just do a merge as one face merges into the other. Alejandro said, I told you, NDO NDI Studio Monitor for mobile devices will change everything if it's ever released. However, we must consider NDI for ARM devices. Well, don't talk to me about that. You know, I mean, you can certainly say it here, and I'm sure Dr. Andrew Cross anxiously watches every episode of Streaming Idiots. Not. But yeah, that would be cool. What would really be cool is when that happens, that could somehow be merged with the vMix web controller so that you can have an image of what it is you're controlling. I don't know if that would eat up all the bandwidth, but if you had a NDI HX super light that could do a 20 pixel by 20 pixel image on your phone or your tablet, and you could switch visually instead of switching by a text message. Anyway, I think that's going to be fun, and we can see if it just might actually be something in the future. Other questions or comments? Questions, comments. Now's your time. You know, just if you don't get it in now, you're going to have to wait until next week. Oh, my goodness. Let's see what. Oh, can I put the chat on the bigger screen? Sure. There you go. There you go. Getting comments from the ultimate peanut gallery here. Let's see. Andrew said, where's this a while back? Okay, Alan says, is there any special upgrade pricing available for those of us who have several licenses? And Alan, I appreciate you asking the question, but I think we want to be really precise with our language because we want to distinguish an upgrade from an update. For example, if you have vMix 21 HD and you want to update it, that means you get vMix 22 HD for $60 when vMix 22 rolls out, or if you want to get it before now, then you can get the beta for $60, actually $54 if you use the coupon code GIFT in the Eastern Shore Broadcasting chat room. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, right there. Sorry, not in the chat room, in the store. An upgrade is to take your vMix HD and to bump it up to vMix 4K or vMix Pro. And that upgrade would also give you an update to vMix 22. So there are two ways to do it. You can update for $54 with your coupon code GIFT at easternshorebroadcasting.com, or you can upgrade your HD to 4K or your basic HD to HD and get all the features in the higher numbered version and get a free update to vMix 22, which will last you for a year in case vMix 23 comes out within the year. I guess prediction number 6 is that vMix will continue to charge for updates in the future. They won't start giving. They've been giving away updates for years, so much so that everybody just grew accustomed to it, and got a little miffed when they didn't get their free update to vMix 22 beta. The vMix policy the written policy has always been that updates are $60. So there you go. So Alan says, I meant update. So there we go. Now we're getting accurate with our language. I will use one of your coupon codes for an update license. There you go. And if you have more than one license, you need to have more than one update, vMix update package. But the good news is the coupon code will work for as many of them as you need. Tommy says, last year I predicted I would get older. Notice he didn't say older and wiser. Tommy, I'm just pulling your leg. I'm pulling your leg. Let's see. So Tommy Willis says an upgrade from vMix HD to vMix 4K, vMix 22 4K would be $350. That is correct, Tommy. And there might be a coupon code out there. I'll check, and if there is, I'll send it to you. Oh, Alan says he just used one of the coupon codes for an update license. Well, there you go. And as soon as I get off this show, Alan, I'll process it and get it over to you. And basically, what the update license does is it just takes your existing license key that vMix already sent you, and it qualifies it for the vMix 22 beta or the update. So you don't get a new key code. You get your same one. Ezekiel said, I just noticed you can now roll back a Facebook Live video. Yes, you can. That's pretty cool that Facebook has put that in, even though I predicted 2 years ago Facebook Live would be an absolute flop. Oh, well. So, yes, but you don't want to do that with this show, because you want to catch this show in its live essence and all the comments in the chat room that match up. So Alan says, I wonder if anyone will update their basic HD license instead of just buying a new license for the same price. The latter approach lets them have a vMix 21 and a vMix 22. Yeah, the benefits, one of the big features in vMix 22, of course, is the GT title designer and animated titles. But in order to create your own animated titles with GT Title Designer and being able to use them in vMix, you have to have the vMix 4K or the vMix Pro editions. Now, there are slews, dozens, maybe like 6 dozen animated titles in vMix 22 HD, SD, Basic HD, Basic SD. All those are animated, and all those will work. You just can't create your own unless you have one of the upper layer packages. So Tommy wants to borrow $350. Old pal, good buddy. Sure. If you can afford the interest. Oh, yeah. Alan says, for the beta, I simply did a trial license. And if you have a PC that has not had a trial on it before, or sometimes if you have a PC that had a trial, a long time ago, you can try that. In fact, I would try that before I updated, just to see if it would work. Alan says he has a 4K license, so he can make his own. He can make stunning new titles that will be even more stunning than ones like, let's see, which one was it? It was, oh yeah, this one. That is a just stunning title. Notice the use of color. I don't think that one's going to win any awards. But the tools that are really fun, and it's going to be fun to watch vMix expand the whole animated title bit in the title designer. I'm hoping that Martin will not consider it done when he's finished, but that he will continue to make it more and more valuable and allow you to take little teeny images and let them spin in and explode and do all sorts of fun things like that. I don't know, maybe he won't. Other software will allow you to do that right now. Alan says, my point is if someone has a basic HD license now, there's no gain in updating it. Simply get a new license. I would agree. Yeah. The only reason that I would use a basic HD license if I did would be to use it on my second PC here for streaming and recording, because I only need 2 or 3 inputs for that. And the basic HD license allows you up to 4. Alan says, we needed a floating cube with 6 Tom faces on it. Well, now you've got one. If there was anything you ever needed, Alan, now you've got it for sure. Let's see. Do we keep that one from last week? No, I think we got rid of it. Oh, well. So, yeah. Yep. All right. Let's see. Anybody else slip in while we were chit-chatting there? Nope. Yeah, there are lots of reasons for a basic HD license. It's good. Michael says, it looks like what we used to call moves, but fall short of keyframeable animations. All right. I don't understand. Tell me. Tommy says, I may not be able to afford the upgrade but I will never complain about vMix pricing. It's the only reason I'm able to do what I'm doing now. Go vMix. Here, here. Ken Richter says, Tom, are you, and by the way, Ken, my supply of dum-dums, I just wanted you to know, my supply of dum-dums is dwindling. Although I was in, where was I in? I was in Sam's or Costco, and they had a giant dum-dum. Oh man, I should have got it. Anyway, Tom, are you selling the Tom Cube so we can all use it? Better than that, I am selling the tool that created the Tom Cube. So you can create, that's right, the Ken Cube. And the Tommy Cube and the Michael Cube and the Alan Cube. Yep. In fact, wouldn't that be fun to get a bunch of cubes up there spinning all together? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I can't say it. Can I do it? I can't do it. What I was thinking is if I could get a caller in on vMix Call and take their head live and run it through vMix Title Designer and cube it. Wouldn't that be fun? Hey, Jason, glad to have you. I mean, if you can't show up here on time, just show up whenever you can. That's all right. We're in post-show now, so that's all right. I'm just teasing you. I'm teasing you. All right, so a seed has been planted. That's right. Alan says he's been having some fun with virtual PTZ control. Of course, I would really like support for 3D mice so I can all be done one-handed. I use 3D mice in 3D modeling programs. Well, Alan, you know about the feature request section of the vMix forum, don't you? You don't? Well, let me tell you about it. Anybody that has a great idea of what they'd like vMix to do can get a mainline communication directly through to vMix if they go to forums, that's forums plural, forums.vmix.com, and go to the feature request section. Now you have to be able to sign up for that and sign up for a membership, but you can suggest a feature. And some of the greatest features that vMix now has came from people like you and me that suggested them and advocated for them. For example, when vMix Call did not yet exist, there were a number of us, I think Michael Graves, you were among them, who had got in and made that feature request and were discussing the feature request within that post, within that thread. And we started talking about how the WebRTC technology was now ready for something like this and how it could be implemented. And I think there was so much discussion there that Martin Sinclair, my good cousin, the creator and CEO of vMix, finally decided he needed to shut us up, so he just made it. And what he said is that he was waiting for WebRTC to be mature enough to be a good product, that he didn't have to do a lot of WebRTC tech support when really it was not. Jason was on the wrong page. Now he sees the chat. Ah, okay. Well, then you're off the hook, Jason. Alan says, yes, I know, but I still haven't convinced them to put modifier keys and shortcuts yet. That would be great. Wouldn't it be great to hold down the shift key and press another key on the keyboard? That would give you all, another 26 plus keys. Or if you could hold down the control key, there's another 20. So you could have, dozens and dozens and dozens of shortcuts just with control or shift or even alt. That would be great. Amnon has to run. Amnon, don't run. Take your car. Have a happy new year, everybody. And tell your mom I thank her for having you. Well, Mom, did you hear that? Amnon says, of course, Amnon's a big teaser too, so he'll probably tell me later. Oh, she says you're welcome. All right. Well, it's been great hanging out with you guys today. We'll see you again next week. We're going to close out the pre-show here, or the post-show, I guess we would call it, since it is after the show. I hope you guys have a great holiday. Be safe on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and have as much fun as you possibly can and be safe. So we'll see you next week. We'll let the stream run out for a bit so you don't get cut right off. Take care.